So here it is, the Touche. It's an expression pedal of sorts, but you don't really use it with your feet. It's more something you have on your desk, and it lets you control your sounds via MIDI, via USB or CV in almost like 4 dimensions, up, down and sideways. And yeah, I'll show you that later, I think, with the Matrix Brute. So let's just open this box up here. It's such a premium package. I love how they added the little foam up here to really keep it safe. And here's the product itself. So this is what it looks like. Sort of wooden finish up here, really smooth, really nice. And it, of course, it tilts in four different ways here. And you have buttons here, as well as this rotary encoder here that is also clickable. The overall feel of the unit is very solid. It's definitely a high-end product in the way that they've designed it. It's a kind of a premium product. Has a really nice sturdy feel to it. Now I probably wouldn't use my feet on it. I don't know if you're supposed to be able to. I just feel that it's such a nice product that I would want it on a table surface. On the side here you can see that we have USB for data transmissions. We also have the MIDI out, the MIDI in, and of course those are on breakout cables. And we have 4 CV outputs that lets you output control voltages, for example, to a Matrix Brute, a Mother 32 or a Eurorack system, which adds a lot of additional control to such a system. That you basically can control 4 different parameters, or even more if you use splitters or some kind of multiplier. So there's a ton of option here when it comes to connectivity, and you can of course set the MIDI up to send different CC values, so that's also really good. So let's set it aside a little bit and take a look what's else inside the box. And I must say that there's really a premium feel to the packaging here. You have the quick start guide, you have a little welcome notice, you have the technical guide, and you also get some kind of coupon here, so that's all well and good. And in the box there's also the USB cable, and it has some kind of, I'm not sure what they called it, but it's for eliminating ground loops, I suppose. And then there's the standard USB cable here. And then we have the mini jack to MIDI cables here, breakout cables for MIDI connectivity. And that's what's in the box. So now I will go upstairs and I'll test it out a little bit, so stick with me. So in this first little exploration here, I've hooked up the Touche to the Matrix Brute, controlling the cutoff with the up and down gestures, and I'm sending from the CV outputs into the expression pedal inputs of the Matrix Brute, controlling pitch, controlling LFO, and controlling a little bit of the sound characteristics whenever I sort of tilt the pedal. Now lastly, here are some first impressions of the Touche from Expressive-E, and they do put the E in expressive because it's a truly expressive little device, and while it's kind of expensive, it's also kind of premium, and it's meant for people who truly wants to play their synths or add expression to the way they make music. And I think they've nailed it. I think this is a very solid product. It's well built. It's very interesting to use, even for me, and I'm not a keyboard player. I'm not a good keyboard player, and I still can see how this can help me bring out a more personal sound whenever I have it hooked up to a synth or something, and just having this tactile little surface here. And the thing is, you might not see it in my demo, but it's very tactile and it's very sensitive. You can set the sensitivity here, and you can just touch it, move up and down and sideways here, and it registers. And it's very hard. It's very hard to put in words. I guess it's a little bit like the Seaboard Rise. It's very hard to put in words how it actually feels to use it. It's very much a tactile experience. So if you're a keyboard player looking for something to bring on stage to add expressiveness, for example, when you're playing strings or you're playing your lead sounds, or you just want some way to kind of tap different, things to the beat, different changes, different modulations, tap it to the beat. This could be very interesting, but I can also see it being very useful in a studio situation, adding expressiveness to your soft synths, or for example, I myself will be using it probably with Analog 4 Mark II a lot, because you can assign, of course, CC values here to the different directions. And I could have it set up so it affects the macros on the Analog 4, and the macros in turn, they affect a number of different parameters. So you'll get a lot of expressiveness out of just one thing here. And I think also for like a DAW-less setup, it could be really useful, even though, yeah, you need to power it with USB, but you have the MIDI, you have the CV, so of course you have the option there to control whatever hardware synth in a DAW-less setup, and I think that could be really cool as well, especially if you want to perform live or something. So of course there's the price. I think it's around 400 euros, so yes, it is a sort of expensive product. I mean, if you compare it to whatever pedal, effects pedal, of course, if you want premium, if you want the best, you'll end up above like 400 euros, I guess, in price. So do I think that it's worth the money? Yeah, if you want like expression, and if you want a tactile controller with a lot of sensitivity to it that you can really use to create kind of human feel to the sound, yeah, sure, I think this could work out really nicely. There are not that many options out there at the moment that are similar. Maybe something like a Seaboard would make for an interesting comparison, but then again, a Seaboard is much more than just a controller. It's something you need to learn how to play, and that's something that sets this apart, because you don't really need to be a good keyboard player to use it. You don't really have to learn like a totally new way of playing. Of course, it takes a little getting used to. I just barely scratched the surface of what you can do with it. If you're like me and not traditionally trained, I think something like this will add more expression than a Seaboard, because a Seaboard will require you to, definitely, you have to learn it, and you have to get something out of it, you have to be kind of decent at playing a keyboard. This is much more, I think, intuitive and requires less skill to use, but it still has depth. So if you are a skilled player, I think you can take it a lot further than I could, of course. But yeah, it's it's just like a lower bar for using it, I guess. Hope that makes sense to you. So that was kind of my first impressions of it. Now I'm dying to hear what you think about it, what you want to know about it. I'll try and do like a full review, showing you different use cases, showing you how I use it, but that'll come up later here on the channel. So leave a comment what you want to know, and if you want to support the work I do here, you can always become a Patreon over on patreon.com/bowbeats, and then you get access to the simplysynth.com forum as well. So guys, thank you so much for checking out this first look at the Touche or Touche-E that I called it initially because I misread Expressive-E, the company name. And yeah, so thank you for checking it out. I hope you have a great day. Thank you.